Hello, Americans. It's Amir. Welcome to part 7 of this masterclass in talking to non-voters, which we define as people who'd be unlikely to vote unless you give them a bit of a nudge. And by the way, when you give them a nudge, don't do the. It's far less motivating than you'd think. So I was talking to a reasonably intelligent person, an aficionado of public radio. I was telling them how we need to reach out to the millions and millions of people who sat out the 2016 election. And this reasonably intelligent person listened and nodded intelligently and said, I know, but how would I even do that? Everyone I know voted. I live in such a bubble. Ah, the bubble. How pundits love telling us we live in a bubble and how eagerly we take that bubble wand and flagellate ourselves with it. And there are good reasons for this, but there's just one nuance to it. Namely, it's not true. Sorry to burst your bubble, but you don't live in a bubble. The truth, which is self-evident if you think about it, is that we pass every day of our lives twining and vining around people who have different, maybe even hostile political views from us. The person who bakes your bread, who tests the traffic lights, who fixed your brakes, who fixed your cat, who teaches your child to read. Yes, even doctors and nurses. Many of them will have very different political views from you. And yet, and you would never know this from the think pieces, right? We trust the most important things in our lives. We trust our very lives to these people. So when we talk about living in a bubble, maybe we mean social media bubble or the community that we consciously identify ourselves as belonging to, rather than the community we are actually in. And so it's less about polarization and more about energizing these people to vote. People who maybe no one has ever treated before as having political power. They've been waiting their entire lives for you to talk to them about voting. They just didn't know it yet. But now, how do you identify these people? Well, one thing you could do is sign up for an organization like Vote Forward, and they'll do all the work for you. They'll give you names of voters to reach out to and a distinct channel like writing letters. And when I say you could sign up for Vote Forward, I mean you absolutely should sign up for Vote Forward. Another way is to start with your high school softball team. My God, that team, the Cobras. Those girls were like a band of brothers. You'd have done anything for them, any of them. Even Kaylee, who wouldn't shut up about Yale, even she played her heart out. And you're all still friends to this day. I mean, sure, everyone's spread apart and everyone's like super busy right now. But these are great people. But I bet you some of them don't vote in every election. That doesn't mean they don't have great hearts. They all have great hearts, even Kaylee up to a point. But maybe you've noticed that some of them have judiciously skipped liking some of your political posts. And I am here to tell you that just like when you were down 6 runs at the state tournament, they are all watching you. You're all watching each other, waiting for one of you to step up and say, this is what we are going to do. We're Cobras and we're gonna vote. And they're gonna listen to you because you have influence. You have a bond. You are the best qualified person because you've come through in a crisis. They know that you care about stuff that matters, and you think that it matters that they vote. Everybody has their Cobras. Everybody has a circle they have a little bit of influence in. Maybe your Cobras aren't a softball team. Maybe your Cobras are actual Cobras. But now, what if one of them says, yeah, I don't do politics? We will stare down that Cobra and hypnotize it coming up in the next class. Subscribe now. See, really doesn't motivate people.